The West thought Africa would always play along. Cheap resources, silent suppliers, endless extraction. But now, Africa is saying, game over. One by one, African nations are slamming the brakes on raw material exports, and the West is feeling the squeeze like never before. This isn't just policy. This is power. This is sovereignty. And this is the moment the world realizes Africa isn't begging for a seat at the table anymore. It's building its own. For decades, Western economies ran on a quiet assumption. Africa would always supply the raw materials, oil, gold, lithium, cobalt, cocoa, at low cost, no questions asked. Your smartphone? Powered by African cobalt. Your electric car? Running on African lithium. Your jewelry? Often made from African gold. But here's the truth they never wanted you to see. Africa was never poor. It was robbed of value, of dignity, of control. Now, that's changing. Fast. 10 African nations, and counting, are drawing a line. No more raw exports. No more selling cheap. No more letting others profit while their people stay poor. They're saying, our resources, our rules. And the West? It's panicking. Ghana, one of Africa's top gold producers, is done watching its gold get shipped out raw, refined in Europe, then sold back at 10 times the price. So now, Ghana requires mining companies to sell 20% of refined gold directly to the Bank of Ghana and, crucially, to refine it inside the country. That means jobs, value, and wealth stay where the gold comes from, in Africa. Western jewelers and tech firms are feeling the heat. Gold prices are rising. Supply chains are tightening. Ghana isn't just exporting gold. It's exporting power. Uganda made a bold move in 2021, a ban on raw coffee exports. For decades, Ugandan farmers grew the beans while Swiss, German, and American companies roasted, branded, and sold them for massive profits. Uganda said, enough. Now, only processed coffee, roasted, packaged, and ready for shelves, can leave the country. Local factories are rising. Jobs are being created. And Western coffee giants? They now have to pay more or find alternatives. This isn't just about coffee. It's about dignity. Uganda isn't just growing beans. It's growing an economy. In 2010, Gabon banned raw log exports, a move that flipped the script. For years, European furniture makers bought cheap Gabonese logs, turned them into luxury products, and never paid Gabon a fair share. So Gabon said, process it here or don't take it all. The result? Furniture factories, carpentry schools, and local jobs. European companies scrambled. Gabon didn't just protect its forests. It turned them into leverage. Niger dropped a wake-up call, uranium export restrictions, and France felt it instantly. France gets 70% of its electricity from nuclear power, much of it fueled by Niger's uranium. For decades, Niger sold it cheap. France got rich. Niger stayed poor. Now, Niger said, you want our uranium? Pay and respect us. Suddenly, France faces rising costs and energy fears. Why? Because they assumed Africa would always comply. But Niger just flipped the switch. Guinea made a radical choice, banned exports of rice, maize, and yams. Why? Because for years, Guinea fed Europe and the Gulf, while its own people went hungry. Now, Guinea's food feeds Guinea first. Western importers are scrambling. But this isn't isolation. It's sovereignty. Real independence isn't just flags and borders. It's the ability to feed your people without begging. Mozambique followed Gabon's lead in 2017. No more raw log exports. If you want Mozambican timber, you buy furniture, flooring, plywood, made in Mozambique. Local factories, local jobs, local taxes. Foreign companies? They're paying more or leaving. Mozambique isn't a supplier. It's a producer. Namibia, sitting on massive lithium reserves, is not letting it be shipped out raw. The message? Want our lithium? Invest here. On our terms. Western EV makers assumed lithium would always be cheap and easy. But Namibia said, if you want green energy, you build it with us, not off us. This isn't just economics. It's justice. The Ivory Coast produces 40% of the world's cocoa, yet gets crumbs from the $100 billion chocolate industry. Now, new rules limit raw cocoa exports. Goal? Build local chocolate factories, create jobs, and keep value at home. Brands like Nestle and Hershey now face a choice. Pay more, invest locally, or lose access. The Ivory Coast isn't just growing cocoa. It's demanding respect. The DRC has 70% of the world's cobalt, the key to electric cars and smartphones. For years, companies like Tesla and Apple bought raw cobalt cheap, refined it in China, and sold it back for billions. Now, the DRC says, process it here. Export restrictions are forcing investment in local industry. The DRC isn't just supplying the green future. It's building it. Zimbabwe, one of the world's top chrome producers, used to sell raw chrome cheap, while others turned it into high-value steel. Now, a ban on raw exports, local smelting, local processing, local profits. Western industries relying on cheap chrome face shortages and price hikes. Zimbabwe is taking back control, proving that Africa's wealth belongs to Africa. These 10 nations aren't acting alone. They're part of a continental shift. Africa is done being the world's pantry, mine, and plantation. It's building industries, creating jobs, and saying, our resources fuel our growth first. The West built its wealth on African extraction. Now, the tables are turning. Companies that relied on cheap, endless African resources are facing a new reality. Africa sets the price. Africa sets the rules. This isn't anti-West. It's pro-Africa. And it's not just about money. It's about dignity, sovereignty, justice. So here's the question for you. Will the West adapt or keep demanding? Will they come begging for these exports? Or will they finally treat Africa as an equal partner? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about why the West still sees Africa as a resource, not a rival. And if you believe in truth, power, and African rise, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell, because this is just the beginning. We're not just watching history. We're making it. Africa isn't rising because the West allows it. Africa is rising because it decided to. The world is changing. And this time, Africa is writing the rules.